Hi guys, Eevee Guy here. Welcome to a new video. Today I will do a Nuzlocke challenge in the Johto region in the Gen 2 games. So, Johto give us 100 Pokemon more, and all of those 100 new Pokemon, who knows what can come out from the grass and the sea for us to use. So the rules for this challenge is, if a Pokemon faints, is dead and must be boxed or released, I can only catch the first wild Pokemon in each route. Every time I defeat the gym leader, that gym will be my checkpoint. If I black out, I must reset from the last checkpoint. I will be playing set mode. I will use HM Mules if I need to. It's not really a rule, but you get me. My level cap will start level 15 and increase always 5 levels for the next gym. If it goes over level, I will put it in the box until it can be used again. And as you know, this means I will not use the normal level cap from the gym leaders. For the first gym I will be a level 15, and the second gym I will be level 20, and so on. And this means this rule will bring advantages, but it will also bring disadvantages for myself. But of course I will still try to match the levels from the gym leaders, if I need to, the ones below the level of course. I can't heal in battle, I'm only allowed to use health items. And I'm only allowed to use Pokemon from Gen 2 or Pokemon from Gen 1 that will evolve into Pokemon from Gen 2. So if I catch a Zubat or an Oddish or an Onix or Scyther, I'm forced to evolve them into Crobat, Blossom, Steelix or Scizor respectively. So this is my rules, so put a like on that video, subscribe to my channel if you will appreciate, and come with me in this adventure. So we start our journey in New Bark Town. Professor Elm gives me 3 choices. For starters, I decide to go with Cyndaquil, because it's a fire type, and I name it Fire Mouse. We receive our Pokeballs, so the run officially started. I talk to my mom and tell her to save the money. She can get good items that we may need in our adventures. So on Route 29 I get a Sentret as my first encounter. I catch it and I name it Scout. Yeah, in the Pokédex says it's a Scout, so why not? On Route 30 I get an Hoppip, I catch it and I name it Leaf Balloon. On Dark Cave I found a Zubat, which I catch it and I name it Vampire. After that I decide to grind some levels from the Pokemon I got, which Fire Mouse evolved into Quilava. So now it's time to face the first gym with Falconer, the flying type gym leader. He starts with PG, so I go with Leaf Balloon, but of course it's just to get some experience because I changed for Scout right away. And PG's tackles miss, so that means we are safe with no damage. I start to go for defense curls to raise Scout's defense while PG goes for tackle. After PG still goes for tackle and makes some damage, our berry heals Scout and I still go for defense curl. Then I start to attack with tackle, then PG miss a tackle, but then on the next turn PG manages to land a crit to compensate for the last tackle that missed, but even so Scout manages to finish PG, so next is Pidgeotto. I continue with tackle, which doesn't do that much damage. After Pidgeotto leaves Scout with only 5 HP, I didn't want to risk it, so I sent Fire Mouse. And yes, Fire Mouse is on level 14, which my level cap that I put in the rules is 15. And Pidgeotto is level 9. Isn't fair? Well, probably, depending on the point of view, but like I said, those are my rules. Still, I promise this is the last time I do this. Like I said, I will still try to match the levels from the gym leaders. That is, with the levels below my level cap. Either way, Pidgeotto goes down after a few tackles, which makes me win the first badge. In Pokemon Center, the assistant of Pokemon Count gives us a Pokemon egg. Weird. I would like to know how Pokemon really fight. Anyway, on Route 36 I catch a Hoothoot and I name it Night Owl. On Route 32 I catch an Wooper and I name it Landfish. In Union Cave I lost an encounter which was Onix because I run out of Pokeballs. Then, on the way Scout evolves into Furret, so it's time to face Bugsy, the bug type gym leader. She starts with Metapod and I go with Fire Mouse, a single Ember and Metapod is down. Then comes Scyther, and it needs 3 Embers before Scyther goes down. And next is Kakuna, so Kakuna goes down as well with a single Ember, second badge obtained. Then right away is the fight against our rival. He starts with Ghastly and I go with Vampire. Ghastly goes with Lick, which I hope it doesn't paralyze, which it doesn't, and we make a huge damage with Bite. Then a second bite puts Ghastly down. Next is his own Zubat, which hits us with a Supersonic. Since I don't want to deal with a confused vampire, I change for Fire Mouse, which receive a bite in return. Next I use Hamber, which leaves Zubat on the red. So on the next turn, a tackle puts Zubat down. Next is Croconaw, so I change for Night Owl. A water gun leaves a little damage, and Night Owl's peck makes even less damage to Croconaw. After that, a Scratch makes a lot of damage, so I use Hypnosis to put it to sleep. And I change back to Vampire. I use Bite while Croconaw was asleep, leaving it on half. When it wake up, I use Supersonic to confuse it to see if I can have some luck on it. And I do, but the confusing only lasts one turn. But fortunately, Vampire finishes off Croconaw in the next turn. Phew! On Helix Forest, I get the TM for Headbutt, which I teach it to Leaf Balloon, and I use it on a tree, and I got a Pinnacle, but ended up using Self-Destruct, killing itself, and Vampire on the process. The good news is that our egg finally hatched, and Togepi came out and I named it Baby Wing. After some training, Leaf Balloon evolved into Scripple. So now it's time to face Whitney, the normal time gym leader. She starts with Clefairy and I go with Leaf Balloon. First I go with Sleep Powder, after Clefairy falls asleep I go for Headbutt. But Clefairy wakes up right in the next turn for Double Slap. I go for another Sleep Powder and then I go with Headbutt, which crits, so with the next Headbutt Clefairy goes down. Next is Miltank. I go for Poison Powder, but not before Miltank lands her rollout. On the next turn, Leaf Balloon goes down, so yeah, you did well. Rest in peace, Leaf Balloon. Next I send Baby Wing. I try Sweet Kiss, which misses. On the next turn, Baby Wing goes down. Next I send Scout, which I could only hit a quick attack before going down with rollout. Next I send Landfish, and Miltank goes for Attract. Fortunately, Landfish hits a Slam, making more damage together with the poison. Then I change for Fire Mouse and Miltank goes for Rollout. How did it predict me? At this point I just want to send Smokescreen to see if it misses and goes down with poison. But not before it lands another Rollout, this time stronger than the last one. Fortunately, our Smokescreen hits and then our Berry heals Fire Mouse. And another fortune is that Miltank misses on the next turn while I hit another Smokescreen. And then Miltank misses a Stomp while it goes down with poison, winning us the third batch. Yes, it wasn't the best strategy and I lost 3 members of the team. That was unfortunate. Rest in peace, guys. On the way to Ecruteak City, Landfish evolved into Quagsire. On Route 35 I catch a Snowball and I name it Lady Dog. On National Park, I catch a Ladybug and I name it Joe. And I catch the Sudowoodo that was in the middle of the way and I name it Rocktree. After I meet Bill here, I go meet him again back on Goldenrod City, to an Eevee. Since I didn't decide what to evolve him into, it will stay in the box for now. In the Burn Tower is the rival fight. It starts with Hunter and I go with Night Owl. Hunter uses Curse on Night Owl while I go with Foresight. Then Hunter uses Minilook and I go with Peck. Then it goes for Spite while I go for Tackle, which crits, but unfortunately Night Owl goes down with the Curse. So I send Fire Mouse, which finishes off Hunter with Tackle. Next is Croconaw, so I go with Landfish, which takes a Water Gun. I go then for Slam, then Croconaw goes for a Bite that flinch, then on the next turn I go for Slam again, but after that Croconaw goes for Bite, which flinch again. Another Slam leaves Croconaw in the red. Croconaw goes for another Bite that fortunately doesn't flinch this time, so a Slam can hit and put Croconaw down. Next is Zubat and it goes for Bite that flinch again. I mean, really, why don't I have that kind of luck? How many times can he do that? Fortunately the next 2 bites don't flinch, so 2 slams more puts Zubat down. The last Pokemon is Magnemite, and I change for Fire Mouse, which takes a Sonic Boom. I use Ember and it leaves Magnemite on the red, then Magnemite goes for Supersonic, which is annoying, but fortunately Magnemite goes down with another Ember, winning the fight. After some training, Joe evolves into Ladian, and Lady Dog evolves into Grumble. So it's time to challenge Morty, the Ghost-type gym leader. It starts with Ghastly and I go with Lady Dog. It goes with Curse, which is bad, but that means that a single bite is enough to put it down. Next is Haunter. It misses a Hypnosis and a bite takes more than half of its health. Then it misses another Hypnosis, so another bite puts it down. Next is Gengar, which misses 2 Hypnoses in a row, while 2 bites leave it on the red. I go for another bite, but this time Gengar hits with the Hypnosis, putting Lady Dog to sleep. And the curse still in effect. It leaves Lady Dog with only 1 HP, so I change for Fire Mouse, and a single Ember puts it down. Next is the second Haunter, but it didn't do anything to Fire Mouse besides using Spite and Mean Look, so just using Ember put Haunter down, winning as the 4th batch. On Route 41, I found a Mantine and I named it Explorer, so let's continue for the next gym battle. Chuck, the fighting type gym leader. It starts with Primeape and I go with Explorer. I go with Supersonic. At first I didn't hit, but the second works. Then on the next turn, Primeape hits itself in Confusion 2 times, so 2 Bubble Beams are enough to put it down. Next is Poliwrath. I try another Supersonic and miss twice, 3 times. Finally I connect with Supersonic and Poliwrath starts to hit itself in Confusion, allowing me to hit with Takedown. Unfortunately, Poliwrath snaps out and hits a Hypnosis, putting Explorer to sleep, and finally hits a Dynamic Punch, which it missed the previous ones, like 2 times. And since Explorer is on low health, I decide to change for Landfish, and Poliwrath misses another Dynamic Punch. On the next turn, Poliwrath this time hits a Dynamic Punch, making Landfish confused. But we don't hit ourselves in Confuse, but we miss the attack. Are you serious? Then Poliwrath lands another Hypnosis, putting Landfish to sleep. Then it goes for Surf, leaving Landfish on the red, so I decide to change for Choke, which can take a Surf. Then I try Supersonic, but I miss. Of course I do. Then Joe takes another Surf, leaving it on the red. Then finally on the next turn I hit a Supersonic, but unfortunately Poliwrath don't hit itself in Confuse, so another Surf takes Joe down. I bring Rock 3, which is bad. I was hoping that maybe Poliwrath could hit itself in Confuse now, but it doesn't, so it kills Rock 3 with another Surf. Then I send Fire Mouse, which also goes down with a Surf. This time this Poliwrath didn't hit in Confuse, so I'm getting desperate. Waiting for a disaster, I send again Explorer, and in the first try, it wakes up and lands a not very effective Bubble Beam. Then it goes only with Mind Reader, so a single tackle puts this damn Poliwrath down. I won the battle, winning the 5th edge, but I wasn't happy at all. If I knew that Explorer could wake up right in the next turn, I would stay in and not lose so many Pokemon from my team. I was getting nervous, so that's why I clicked buttons without thinking. That was all my fault. And next we have the next gym battle against Janine, the Steel-type gym leader. And I go with only 2 Pokemons on my team. She starts with Magnemite and I go of course with Landfish, which is immune to electric types, being water and ground type. I go first with Amnesia and then Landfish gets hit by Supersonic. Fortunately we pull through and the Surf leaves Magnemite on the red. But on the next turn we start to receive damage from Magnemite and hitting ourselves in Confuse. Fortunately Magnemite misses Sonic Boom, but we miss Slam. Are you serious? After another Sonic Boom leaves Landfish on the red, we snap out of Confuse and we hit the Slam that puts Magnemite down. Next is Steelix. A Surf leaves Steelix in the yellow and then it misses our Iron Tail, so another Surf puts Steelix down. Next is the second Magnemite. Since Landfish is with low health, I don't have other choice than change for Explorer, which can take a Sonic Boom. Then I go for Supersonic, which lands making Magnemite hit itself in Confuse. Then I use Bumble Beam, which leaves Magnemite on the red. Damn it. But fortunately Magnemite hits itself in Confuse, which lets me hit with Tackle and finish off Magnemite, winning us the 6th badge. That was close. On Route 38, I found a Miltank and named it Milky. You know, because of those things. And on Route 43, Luco decides to show up. Hi, Entei. Oh well, I make a little damage and it just run away. Next was the rocket hideout, and it was actually easier than I expected with only 3 Pokemon, so we will skip that. So next is the fight against Bryce, the Ice-type gym leader. He starts with Seal, so I go with Milky. I decide to go with Bite, while it goes for Icy Wind and 2 Aurora Beams. After that, Bite leaves Seal on the red. Then Milky takes another Aurora Beam, while a Stomp finishes off Seal. Next is Dewgong, so first I use Milk Drink to heal Milky, then Milky takes an Aurora Beam. Then I use again Bite, and Dewgong goes for 3 Aurora Beam, which leaves Milky with only 12 HP before going down with Bite. So last is Piloswine, so I go for Milk Drink to heal Milky, and Piloswine miss a Blizzard. That gives me the chance to go for another Milk Drink to heal Milky at full. And Piloswine goes for Fury Attack. So on the next turn I go for Bite, so Milky takes another Fury Attack and a Blizzard, and then Bite leaves Piloswine on the red. Since I know that Price goes for Hyper Potion, I use Milk Drink 2 times on Milky. Then I go for another Bite. But unfortunately the Blizzard makes a crit and Milky goes down. You did well, my sweet cow. I send Explorer and I use Bubble Beam, which leaves Piloswine on the yellow. Then it takes a Icy Wing before defeating Piloswine with Bubble Beam, winning us the 7th badge. In Ecruteak City I catch a Poliwag and I name it Bellydrum. And on Route 42, on a tree, I catch a Aipom and I name it Handy. On Ice Path, I catch a Swinov and I name it Snowy. On the way to the last gym, I train my Pokemon, especially the ones I caught, which makes Snowy evolve into Piloswine and Bellydrum evolve into Poliwhirl. So it's time to face Claire, the Dragon-type gym leader. She starts with Dragonair and I go with Snowy. Unfortunately, Dragonair goes first and hits Snowy with Surf, which makes a huge damage, while our Icy Wing leaves it on the yellow. Fortunately, in the next turn I was first, so that means our speed was a tie, making Dragonair go down. Next is Kingdra, so I change for Handy. Kingdra goes for Surf, which leaves Handy on 14 HP. Handy then goes down with an Hyper Beam, so I send Explorer and I use Supersonic, which misses, of course it does. Then Kingdra uses Dragon Breath, which Explorer takes very well. And finally we hit the Supersonic. Unfortunately, Kingdra hits itself in Confuse while we use Takedown. Kingdra then hit itself in Confuse again while we go for another Takedown. Then Claire heals Kingdra, which means we need to start everything again. Fortunately, Kingdra is still confused, so it still hits itself in Confuse. Then, thinking that Kingdra would snap out of Confuse, I go for Supersonic, which it didn't. Then it snaps out of Confuse, then it goes for Hyper Beam, which leaves Explorer on the red. So after I land a Supersonic, I decide to change for Snowy, while Kingdra recharges. But unfortunately, Snowy goes down with a Surf. So I change for Bellydrum, and I go for Hypnosis, which hits and puts Kingdra to sleep. While I use Rain Dance, Claire uses a full heal to wake up Kingdra. I go for Body Slam next, and fortunately Kingdra hits itself in Confuse, but it's still not enough to take it down. But the next Body Slam puts Kingdra down. Next is our second Dragonair. I put Dragonair to sleep. I go for Surf using the Rain for power, but still it doesn't do that much damage. I go for another Rain Dance and then Surf again, which makes more damage. Another Surf leaves Dragonair in the red, and Dragonair still stays sleeping. So a Body Slam finishes Dragonair, but then comes her third Dragonair. I go for Hypnosis, but it doesn't hit, and Dragonair goes with Thunder Wave and paralyzes Bellydrum. And now Dragonair is faster and it goes for Dragon Breath, and I miss another Hypnosis. Dragonair goes for another Dragon Breath, and fortunately we hit the Hypnosis. I go for Body Slam next, but of course we get paralyzed. We hit 2 Body Slams in the next turns, but before giving the last hit, we get paralyzed twice in a row. On the next turn, Dragonair wakes and hits Bellydrum with Dragon Breath, which survives in 1 HP, before landing a Body Slam that I thought it would be enough, but it leaves Dragonair in the red for just a little bit. But Dragonair gets paralyzed, so that means now I'm faster, so I hope I don't get paralyzed, and we don't, so I go for another Body Slam to finish off Dragonair, winning us the last badge. Finally, on Route 45 I catch a Donphan and I name it Armor Fant. Before going to the league, I need to do some things. First I catch a Slowpoke in the Slowpoke well and name it Psyking. Then second get the King's Rock from this guy, and third steal another King's Rock from this Slowpoke. So I give the two King's Rocks to Belly Drum and Psyking, and then I trade them so I could evolve them into Politoed and Slowking respectively. So now we can go to challenge the lead. But on the way we are challenged by our rival. He starts with Sneasel and I send Belly Drum. I put the Sneasel to sleep and then I finish it with 2 body slams. Next is Magneton, but it goes down with a single surf. Next is Golbat, but 2 body slams is enough to put it down. Haunter is next. I go for Thief, which leaves Haunter on the red. And it goes only for Shadow Ball, so another Thief puts it down. Next is Kadabra, but 2 Thieves puts it down as well after it uses Future Sight. Next is Feraligatr, but since I'm faster I go for Hypnosis, then Belly Drum gets hit by Future Sight before using Body Slam. After a few Body Slams, Feraligatr goes down, winning us the fight. So now it's time to face the lead. And first is Will, the Psychic Specialist. He starts with Zato and I go with Belly Drum. I go for Thief, which leaves Zato on half, and Zato goes for Confuse Ray. Fortunately we don't hit ourselves in Confuse, and the second Thief finishes Zato. Next is Executor. I try to go for Body Slam, but Belly Drum hits itself in Confuse, while Executor goes for Leech Seed. I try to continue for Thief, but the Leech Seed and the attacks that Executor is hitting on us is too much, leaving Belly Drum with only 6 HP. So I change for Exploder, which can take a Psychic, and then I go for Wing Attack, which leaves Executor on the red. It tanks another Psychic, and then a Bubble Beam puts Executor down. Next is Jinx, but 2 Waterfalls is enough to put it down. Next is Slowbro. It starts to go for Psychic after a Curse. I go for Waterfall at first, then I go for Wing Attack, but then Slowbro goes for Psychic. Our Berry heals a little bit Explorer, and then I go for Wing Attack again, while Slowbro goes for another Curse. I decide to change for Psyking, and Slowbro goes for Body Slam. I decide to go for Curse 2 times, and then I attack with Headbutt. And we get the flinch, so the next Headbutt puts Slowbro down. So last is the second Zato. Zato starts with Psychic, which doesn't do a thing, and then I go for Headbutt, which takes more than half. Then we take another Psychic, and the next Headbutt puts Zato down, winning the fight. So next is Koga, the Poison type Specialist. He starts with Ariados, which goes down right away with Psychic. Next is Fortress, so I go with Curse 4 times. Then I go with Water Gun, which crits, but then Fortress goes for Explosion, which fortunately Psyking survives. Next is Venomoth, which goes down with a single Psychic. Muk goes down as well with a single Psychic that crits, although I'm sure we didn't need it. And last is Crobat, which also goes down with Psychic. Easy battle. Next is Bruno, the Fighting type Specialist. He starts with Hitmontop, which goes down with a single Psychic. Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee also go down with a single Psychic. Onix goes down with a single Water Gun, and Machamp goes down with a single Psychic. So next is Karen, the Dark type Specialist. She starts with Umbreon and I go with Armor Fang. I decide to use Rollout, while Umbreon trapped me with Minilok. Umbreon eventually goes down with a Rollout. Next is Vileplume, which also goes down on the 5th Rollout. Rockrow is next. I go for Rollout, and I miss because of the Sand attack, I'm sure. So I change for Belly Drum. After 2 Body Slams, Rockrow goes down. Next is Gengar, so I change for Psyking, which takes a lick but gets paralyzed on the switch. Then on the next turn, Gengar goes for Curse, so I use Psychic, which Gengar goes down right away. Next is Houndoom, which uses Crunch, making a big damage on Psyking. I try to go for Water Gun, but we get paralyzed and getting more damage from the Curse, leaving Psyking on just 11 HP. So I change for Belly Drum, which survives on 2 crunches on just 2 HP, and finishes off Houndoom with Surf. Damn, that was close. So it's time to face the champion, Lance, the Dragon type Specialist. It starts with Gyarados and I go with Psyking. First I go with 6 curses to raise my attack and defense, then Gyarados goes down with a single headbutt. Next is Dragonite. Dragonite misses Thunder 3 times in a row before going down with Psychic. Next is the second Dragonite, and it goes with Twister, which flinch. After I leave it on the red, I decide to change for Armor Fang. Dragonite misses a Blizzard, which gives me the chance to finish Dragonite with Rollout. Next is Aerodactyl. It goes for Rock Slide first before Armor Fan takes more than half of its health. Then Aerodactyl goes for Hyper Beam, which leaves Armor Fan on the yellow as well before going down with another Rollout. Then comes Charizard and it goes down with Flamethrower. You did well, Armor Fan. Rest in peace. I send Belly Drum and I go for Surf, which leaves Charizard on the red. Then it goes for Hyper Beam, but it's not enough to finish Belly Drum. And another Surf takes Charizard down, so last is the third Dragonite. First I go with Hypnosis, but then Lance uses a full restore to wake up Dragonite, while Surf takes just a little damage. I go for Hypnosis again, and when I go for Body Slam, Lance wakes up Dragonite with full heal. Are you serious? Fortunately our Body Slam paralyzed Dragonite, but that means I can't put it back to sleep. Dragonite stays paralyzed twice in a row, which gives me the chance to finish it off with Body Slam, defeating Lance and becoming the champion. But it's still not over. Now it's time to go for Kanto and face the gym leaders from there. Let's go! The first one is Lieutenant Surge, but is Raichu, Magneton, Electrode, Electabuzz, and the second Electrode go down with a single Earthquake, winning us an easy battle. Next is Sabrina. She was a little tricky. I had to switch and forth between my team. Which Explorer was killed? I still managed to defeat Sabrina, but I wasn't happy at all. But even with only 3 Pokemon on my team, I decided to go face Erika. She starts with Tangela and I go with Belly Drum. I use Hypnosis and then 3 Body Slams puts Tangela down, so next is Jumpluff, so another Hypnosis and 2 Body Slams later, Jumpluff goes down. Next is Victreebel, I use another Hypnosis and then I change for Psyking and then a single Psychic puts Victreebel down, so last is Blossom, so 2 Psychics and Blossom is down. Then I decide to pick up Eevee from the box because finally I decided what to evolve it to, so I name it Dark One. And I go to the Rock Tunnel where I found another Onix, which I catch it and I name it Rock Snake. Then at night on Route 16 I catch a Murkrow and I name it Witch. And on Route 7 I catch an Houndour and I name it Hellhound. After some training I decide to give the Metal Coat to Rock Snake and I trade it so I can evolve it into Steelix. So now it's time to face Misty. She starts with Golduck and I go with Dark One. Unfortunately Dark One is not making a good damage, so I change for Psyking. After 2 curses I use the Headbutt, which Golduck goes down. Next is Starmie, which goes down with 2 Headbutts, even after using Confuse Ray. So next is Quagsire, but after 2 Psychics and 1 Headbutt, it also goes down. Next is Lapras, and I of course change for Belly Drum. But after 3 Body Slams and 1 Thief, Lapras also goes down, winning us the fight. Next is Janine. I go with Psyking and every single Pokemon of hers goes down with a single Psychic. It helps being a little over level. To be fair, I'm not counting the Kanto gym leaders for the level cap. The real level cap for me will be when I reach Red. Next is Rock. His Graveler go down with a single Surf, but his Cavatops gives a little trouble, but it go down as well. Next was Omastar, so I changed for Belly Drum, then his Omastar, Onix and Rhyhorn go down with a single Surf. Next opponent is Blaine, but all of his Pokemon fall with a Surf from Landfish. I decide to bring Hellhound and train it and evolve it in the process, so now it's time to face Blue, or like I always call him, Chomp. It starts with Pidgeot and I go with Rock Snake. Pidgeot goes down with a couple of Rock Throws. Next is Gyarados and I change for Psyking. Gyarados goes down with 2 Psychics. Next is Executor, so I change for Hellhound. A single Flamethrower puts Executor down. So now Rhydon is next. I change for Belly Drum, which takes a huge damage on the switch, but then Rhydon goes down with a single Surf. Next is Alakazam, so I change for Witch, which is immune to Psychic. I use Feint Attack on Alakazam, and it was a little annoying because of Alakazam using Recover to heal, but eventually it goes down. Next is Arcanine, so I change for Landfish. A single Earthquake leaves Arcanine on the red, but after Blue kills, a critical hit Surf makes the job, winning the fight. Going through the cave where Red is, it was complicated to navigate in the dark, but I managed. I still remember the way a little bit. It took a little bit of time, but I got to the cave where there was light. I mean, I didn't want to waste a move or a Pokemon place just for Flash. Either way, we managed to get to red, so it's time for the fight. It starts with Pikachu, and I go with Landfish. A single Earthquake puts Pikachu down. Next is Venusaur, and I change for Hellhound. A single Flamethrower, it's not enough. Then after it fires a Solar Beam, which crits, Venusaur goes down with another Flamethrower. Next is Blastoise, so I change for Psychic. After a few Psychics, Blastoise goes down, although it made some damage on Psychic. Next is Espeon, so I change for Witch. 2 faint attacks are enough to put it down. Snorlax is next, so I change for Rock Snake. Snorlax is able to paralyze Rock Snake, but still goes down with 3 Iron Tails. Next is Charizard, and I decide to stay in, thinking I would be faster, but I wasn't, and Charizard takes down Rock Snake with a Flamethrower. So I change for Belly Drum, who takes down Charizard with a single Surf, winning us the fight against Red and the run. Well, I did it! I finished a Nuzlocke on the Gen 2 games. Although I had a lot of deaths on the way, it was interesting. Never thought that Red could be that easy. Maybe because of the diversity of the team I use? Either way, I will make more of this. I really enjoy a lot. Next time it will be in the Gen 3 games. We will see what will happen, but first, I want to see what can I do if I do a monologue. Yes, I can't get enough. So now I want to try to use only one type for the whole game, which will be my next challenge. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, don't forget to put a like on that video and subscribe to my channel. Evie will appreciate, and I'll see you next time. Peace!